So at the University of Pisa, we'll be asking him questions regarding the admission process, the evaluation criteria, how easy it is to study at the University of Pisa, what are the job opportunities after the completion of your degree at the University of Pisa. Stay tuned till the end to get all this information. So the first question for today, what is the aim of the Masters in Cybersecurity?
Okay, the master in cybersecurity, it's about security in the digital world, in cyber systems. Our objective is to form three types of professional. And we need people that is able to develop secure system, which means software or hardware developers that knows very well the problem and know what are the potential vulnerabilities and know how to deal in the implementation of those systems in a secure way. The second type of professionality concerns the people that have to deal every day with security. So these are people that work in an organization and they have to defend this organization. So on one hand they have to make a planning and to organize the defenses and set them up, and when there is an intrusion they have to fight back. Okay. And the third one is those of researchers in cybersecurity, those that create new knowledge, new concepts, new methodologies, new algorithms, something new that can be used to let the previous two types of people to do better than their job.
Okay, that is a really interesting take on the subject. So in basics, we have three main categories for the hardware guys that improve the security of the hardware, and then we have people who normally defend the day-to-day activities, and those people who try to improve the existing security. So for this, I will go to the next question, which the student usually asks. So what are the admissions requirements, and how much mark does a person needs to be qualified or to be granted admission into the cybersecurity program?
In general, if you have a bachelor in computer science, computer engineering, or in electronics or in telecommunication, that's sufficient. And of course, in addition to this, you have to know English because the course is taught in English. However, we may admit students that have a different background, provided they have reasonable knowledge of computer science or computer engineering. For example, this year we have had a student which had a bachelor in mathematics, or even students that have a bachelor in physics or even other degrees. There are requirements to the minimum number of credits that you should have taken in engineering or in computer science, in mathematics and physics. It's not always easy to have a perfect match with the students from abroad, from another country. We are flexible in this, although, the requirement is there. Now, I wouldn't tell you the precise number because it's written in the website. Yeah. So the best thing to do is to look at the website of the course and it is written there formally the number that you actually require.
Okay, yeah, because usually we also have, for example, personally on the Unibody platform, I heard students ask me, what kind of programming language do I need to learn to be able to participate in the cybersecurity program? Is there some specific requirement or anything? So maybe in addition to that, is there any language that is kind of mandatory you check during the admission process, or is there something that helps?
No, there are not such a requirement. We trust that if you have a bachelor in computer science, computer engineering, or if not, if you have taken enough credits in computer science or engineering, you already have the basic knowledge that is sufficient to take this course. And anyway, at the beginning of the course, there are two optional courses, and students are directed to the one or to the other in order to, let's say, have a sort of an homogeneous background knowledge from all of the students. A second consideration, in my experience, typically, for example, if you know how to program in a language, you will learn another one in a very short time. It's just a matter of will, much more than...
It's a transferable skills.
Yeah.
That is really nice. So we can see that there is no specific language that you must know to get admitted in cybersecurity, but the basics of computer science is something that is appreciated. And even if you come from another background, there are some courses that you will take that will kind of balance your deficiency that you do have, right?
Yes, provided again you have already a minimum knowledge in computer science.
Yes.
Okay.
So our next question is usually who is the ideal candidate that?
No, there is not an ideal candidate, although I have also to say that sometimes we have candidates that maybe are really interested, but we realize at the interview that they do not have skills that are required in entrance, and we have to reject them. Okay, so for example, I remember cases of students that had a bachelor in economics or in things like that. Of course, economics is related to cybersecurity, but ours is a technological course in cybersecurity.
Yeah, I can attest to that actually, because there are a lot of electronics, a little bit of more of engineering aspect as compared to other cybersecurity programs where they are more of more just basic IT and networking, such as there less bit of engineering in some programs. So, well, let's the next question which students usually ask is if, for example, they feel that maybe there is some, when they read the requirement in the admission call.
Okay, we get each year around 1,000 applications, and selecting them is lot of work and very complex. We cannot take them all. So the consequence is that the CGPA that they have from their bachelor is, for example, a strong indicator. And if it is below 3.3, 3.5, depending on the years, it's very unlikely to get accepted. Just because we have to select students, and that's one of the main parameters that we take into account. Another parameter that we take into account is the university from which you got your bachelor. In order to be homogeneous in our evaluation, we don't consider things like external experience or working experience. Okay. So just to give the same opportunity and to put all the students at the same level. I mean, so that even if you just took the bachelor last month, you will be put exactly in the same condition as another candidate that took the bachelor 3 years ago that worked in cybersecurity for 3 years. I mean, our purpose is to form students most of all.
Yeah. Well, that is good to hear for students, so they should not be scared about other candidates that maybe have higher years of experience compared to them that just graduated now. So one other question that usually students ask is, if UNIP, what are some job opportunities that are there?
Students are just evaporating.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I mean, students usually may find a job even before they finish, and the day after they finish, they already have a job for sure. Yeah. So that it's going to be a problem for me and my colleagues to find somebody that is willing to work for research projects or to take a PhD. I mean, that's a serious problem for us, and it's a serious problem for the companies. Yeah. I remember some time ago, it came, we had a lot of contacts with companies that are looking for students to hire. And I remember once a representative of a company came to me and said, "Hey Stefano," I mean, we knew each other, so it was using just our first name. "Hey Stefano, we need a person. But even if he is not very good, it's okay. Please help us to find someone." Yeah. And you know, the sad thing is that I couldn't help him. I mean, it's so for cybersecurity, it's a world of opportunity, not only here, all over the world.
Yeah. So regarding this same topic, also usually students do ask, because usually in the cybersecurity program there is no mandatory internship. So usually students do feel like when they arrive, if there is, for example, a mandatory internship, maybe they can use that to get a job, because usually students, they want to get a job after they graduate. So as I've seen on the website, there are opportunities to do like a thesis in the company. Do the cybersecurity department do help in that process?
Absolutely. I'm working a lot on this, and I mean, it's a part of my job which is very time consuming, and of course I mean, it's part of the job, so I'm doing this every day. The thing is, a possibility is to have to make a thesis in a company. Most of the students so far used this possibility. So I mean, our master is relatively young. We began in 2020. So far we have had 3 students already graduated and 10 around that are doing their thesis. And among them all, I would say 80%, probably more, are doing a thesis in a company. Some of them are doing a thesis in a company abroad, not even in Italy, and some other in Italy. And the only requirement for doing this is that the company has an agreement with our department, because, you know, we have to make sure that the thesis work respect some requirements. And from our point of view, we have to protect the student. No, the risk is that you take a thesis in a company and then they will ask you to do some things that you are not supposed to do, or that is not relevant for your studies. Students are still students, so we have to take care of their all this. I mean, all this. So for this reason, there must be an agreement, which is not a problem. I mean, we have a huge number of agreements. We sign them continuously, and even if the company has not already signed an agreement, in a very short time it is possible to do, in which all the parties, including the student, agree on what is the topic of the thesis. We identify supervisors, an academic supervisor that is responsible for controlling that the process is going well, that the student is learning, doing what he is supposed to do. I have to say that so far, and to my knowledge, we never have problem for this, because the request for experts in cybersecurity is so strong that it's very unlikely that the company takes you for a thesis and asks you to do something that is not relevant. I mean, usually it works very well. So I mean, yes, it's possible. There are rules, there are guarantees, and we are working for this.
Okay, that is really nice to hear, and at least now the student can be rest assured that they have a lot of opportunities when they come to the University of Pisa. And last but not the least question, we will ask for students that have missed the admission, maybe this year due to some reason that they are not able to apply. Usually they do ask when is the next admission deadline, when will the application begin. So they usually want to have a time frame, maybe in what month is it usually the call for the next session will be?
Usually the first call, the call is published in December, more or less. Could be around at the end or could be at the beginning, depending on many factors. It's uncontrollable. Okay. Anyway, it remains open for a lot of time, and there are 2 calls. The data remains more or less stable over the years. Usually the first call ends in late February, and right after the first call we open the second part of the call, and the entire process of selection of students ends sometime in April. Okay, maybe May. But the call, of course, closes before this. By the way, we are now in March, The second call is now open,
Yeah.
and we'll close, I don't remember when, but there is still time to apply. We are constrained in the definition of these dates because after we accept the student have to work hard to obtain a visa and to do all of the formalities to be here in Pisa in September for the beginning of the class. So, I mean, it's not something that we can control.
Yeah.
It's beyond our control.
Yeah, we do know this. It's total different, even out of the control of the university. So it's something that has to do with you and the embassy. So yeah, it's a pleasure meeting you and discussing these topics. I hope the students will enjoy these huge insights and help them during their applications. And see you guys. Thank you for your time, sir. And we are glad that you were able to give us this much information.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.